Hey there, how's it going? What is up, everybody? Irish Orangutan is back to pass along the knowledge to make the most of your Madden team. Today we are back to talk about those Wildcard Wednesday players. Once you get to 40 stars, you will be able to get your second set of free cards, so that is something that is very exciting. You'll be getting a power-up that could potentially go with these guys for just completing the 5 this week, and then once you get to your 40 stars, you will be getting one of these players as well. There is a little bit of a storm going on here, so behind me one of my dogs is just kind of reacting to that, so just kind of throwing out there, if you hear a little bit of heavy breathing, she's just a little bit excited from the thunder and lightning. It is quite nice when it rains, and it is absolutely beautiful here right now. I do kind of like it when it rains, to be honest. I was expecting to go all in talking about Mac Jones and him being the best quarterback that you could possibly get, and him knocking out Cam Newton once again for the number one spot on my list. But to be honest, he actually comes in at the bottom of this list. Looking here, you can see the 5 new players: Mac Jones, Nick Bolton, Chase Claypool, Gregory Rousseau, and Isaiah Simmons. Patrick Surtain, still a very viable player, along with Divine Diablo, who came out with the last Rising Stars. So always keep in mind, you may think you know who you're going to get with these Wildcard Wednesdays, but with the Rising Stars coming out last and potentially getting a little bit of an overall boost, I would definitely wait for today, and I will be going through those to help you out just a little bit. When looking at these cards, I did want to make sure that they are something that will be future-proof, cards that will help you now also, and considering what could potentially be best for the best teams, not just those that are struggling to get any players on their team. Coming in at number 10, we do have Mac Jones. He is a field general, but as we can see, he is not going to be able to get to that 90 awareness that does allow him the hot route master, so that does put him quite behind. On stream today, RG did compare him to Ryan Tannehill, and I have not seen a lot of Ryan Tannehills, especially since pretty much every other quarterback has came out, and actually Ryan Tannehill could be one of the quarterbacks that you do get in this release, but he is way down the list, not even necessarily an honorable mention. This card coming in with 92 throw power, 80 speed does make him a very viable quarterback. Once you power him up, he will be able to get to all of the 90 accuracies, so that is something that he's not going to be missing any passes. His throw motion wasn't terrible, but it was not the quickest when I was going through the weekly Rising Stars challenges to kind of test out and obviously get my own free player today. Speaking of those cards that did come out with the earlier release, the rest of these are not going to be on the list except for the Cam Newton. Again, the reason that I would put Mac Jones over this Tannehill is just the throw power. Having that 92 getting up to potentially 93 can be something that would hugely benefit you. But coming in at number 9, we do have Cam Newton. He has played tremendously for me. To be honest, he is my starting quarterback right now. I did not get him free with the last cards coming out. To be honest, he is someone that I did pick up and actually spend coins on, and he is someone that's been a huge asset to my team. He's able to first throw every pass that I really need to have him throw, and then he's able to run away from pretty much everyone with Escape Artist as well. So he's really the quarterback that has the best abilities in this free release or set of 4 Wildcard Wednesday releases. Coming in at 8, 7, and 6 actually are the heavyweights in order as they are listed here. As you can clearly note, one of those heavyweights has a significant price decrease over the other, under the other two, Taylor Moton and Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly being 6, Moton being 7, and Andrew Norwell being 8. These offensive linemen can honestly be on your team for a very long time. They're all all capable at pass blocking and run blocking. If you do need a pulling guard, Andrew Norwell would be someone that I would definitely leave out in that regard since he is very slow. But besides that, all these linemen can play for you for an extended period of time. So this is going to be a free card that may be something you want to consider. And something else with this, there are going to be better cards above these, obviously, but with the quarterbacks that are below this, they're getting towards the end of what they're going to be relevant. These offensive linemen are going to be relevant for a very long time, so even consider that with some of the players that will be higher on the list as well. These players will fit on your team for longer. It does make sense over time. There are new and better players released each week, and that does kind of follow the pattern that I am looking at here as well. And I didn't necessarily realize this until putting this together, but there are groupings of players, Mac Jones being at the bottom. Doesn't quite fit that, but then we went just kind of release date by release date looking at some of these players. And up next we do have the veterans. We are going to be looking at Jared Cook first. We do have Ryan Fitzpatrick and Robert Quinn as other possibilities here. Both of those players aren't terrible, but again, further down the list, Quinn is a possibility, to be honest, but still someone I would, being outside linebacker and not at a defensive end position definitely puts him further down the list, and I'm happy that I didn't consider him at any point on it. Jared Cook, talking about relevance and also just thinking about how these players could potentially fit on your team. If you already have one of these positions filled, you can probably skip on to the next one. But at the tight end position with 89 speed, you can play him for a very long period of time, especially if you are just wanting to pass the ball, as he is not a tremendous run blocker, as we have to go down a little bit further to see all of that. But he does fit on a lot of theme teams, so he's capable of boosting that speed even higher for all of those. He's a tremendous pass catcher, and he's also 6'5", so he could be a tremendous asset for your team for a long period of time. Coming up next at number 4, we have Jason McCourty coming with 91 speed. He absolutely is a tremendous fit, someone you could definitely consider on this list depending on what you really need. Being 5'11", a little bit shorter than what I would necessarily want, and his in the box stats not necessarily being great either. He would be a tremendous outside cornerback or someone to stick on a Tyreek Hill if he does go into the slot, but on some of those taller wide receivers he could kind of wane. But he, I believe, with Charles Woodson, is one of the fastest cornerbacks, if not the fastest cornerback in the game, with two wide receivers getting up to 98 and 99 speed in the right situations. You're going to need as much speed at the cornerback position as you could possibly want. But with that being considered as well, hopefully you're able to get cornerbacks with 93, 94 speed, hopefully powered up. So there's maybe someone that you want to acquire if you don't have any cornerbacks that are able to keep up with those upper echelon wide receivers. But if you do have a couple quick guys already, maybe wait and only fit him in on the 4th cornerback spot. The two new players today that are not going to make the top 10 list are Nick Bolton and Chase Claypool, both of which are tremendous football players in their own right. Bolton is, I believe, the 2nd fastest middle linebacker in the game right now, tied with Devin White, and Chase Claypool is a tremendous wide receiver at 6'4". But we did receive a wide receiver with 91 speed in the last free drop as well, and he's actually one of the cheapest players that is out at this time with that drop. So just keep that in mind. That speed at wide receiver probably isn't quite what you're going to want moving forward, but may fit well right now. Coming in at number 2, we have Gregory Rousseau. Is a tremendous polished player, is going to fit well on the defensive line. Definitely would look at acquiring him and doing your best to get him as quickly as possible. He's going to be a tremendous fit for your team. 87 speed, one of the fastest defensive linemen in the game. You can put him at defensive tackle and keep after Cam Newton and Michael Vick. And coming in at number 1, we have Isaiah Simmons. Absolutely tremendous all the way around physically, and he is someone that once you power him up, he'll be able to get to that 90 zone as well. 91 hit power, 6'4". If he was strong safety, he'd be perfect user, but being a middle linebacker, if you put Lurker on him, he's actually going to be a little bit better, as he is going to be recognized as a middle linebacker rather than a safety. So in some situations could be helpful, in some situations could not. Just something to keep in mind, again, with that 92 jump. But Lurker on him, 6'4", he's going to get all those things Tej Hendricks can, minus the 3 inches, but a lot more speed. So just a tremendous asset, and someone that will be able to fit on your field for as long as there is middle linebackers with viability, which isn't often, but with Lurker being reduced, he could be someone that could absolutely help out your football team. That is what we have for today. Going to be opening up my packs probably on Twitch here in a second to do a little bit extra on Wednesday, but besides that, I hope you all have the best and get this Isaiah Simmons on your team. Take care.